Hi, I'm James from the Yammer Customer Experience team at Microsoft, and I'm here today at WM Reply's offices in London to talk about Yammer and Frontline Workers.
Hi, my name's Charlene. I work for WM Reply. I'm a senior manager here, and today I am here to talk about Yammer for Frontline Workers.
So I think it's a really interesting question. How can Yammer help, organizations connect with frontline workers?
What we find is that, say for example, our information workers who have just starting to come back to the office and experience our workplace culture back in the office, is that they were looking for a place to do that remotely during COVID. So, how can I still feel the culture of my organization while I'm working 100% from home? And what we forget is that frontline workers have been doing that for a lot longer. For a lot of them, they are maybe 2 or 3 people in a store, or a group of people on a track that are removed from the wider culture of the organisation. And Yammer is a really great tool that allows you to experience the culture of your organisation, but in a digital way. So no matter where you are, you can still feel the culture of the organisation, you can still be involved in the conversations and still feel like you're able to contribute.
So frontline workers, they've probably been using Teams, and now we're adding Yammer to the mix. How do you help organizations explain to those workers, when to use Yammer, when to use Teams, and what for?
Okay, I love that question. And I think that the real answer to that is that we don't really need to talk about the tools themselves. I think what's really key is that we make it very, very easy for our frontline workers to access the tools that they need from one place. And what I love about how Microsoft is driving the technology is that we have, Teams as that central digital workplace where I might go if I'm a frontline worker to start my shift, or to see what tasks that I have for the day. But I also don't have to leave that space to use Yammer, which, they don't need to know that it's Yammer. They just need to know that there's a place for them to go and have a conversation, to share their knowledge, to share their interests. And it's all in that one space. So actually, I think it's great that we've got these tools, and I think that's part of the wider suite. We can integrate all of the great things that Microsoft offers us. And for our frontline workers, they don't really have to know what aspect kind of sits where. It's important for them to be able to, have a central place where they can do all of those things in one location, in one app. And we talk about that one app experience, and I think that's what's really key. Our frontline workers, they're busy people. And when we're talking to our clients, the key is that we make sure that it's very easy for them to understand where they should be spending their time in the day. And so we talk about that task management piece, which I think Teams is great for, but actually we also talk about that knowledge sharing piece, which we want our frontline workers to reach that wider audience. And if I can go into Yammer without kind of knowing that I am, and I can share some of my expertise in a very quick and easy way, I think that's really key. So we try and avoid, when we're going out and we're talking to frontline workers about what it is that we're trying to achieve and how it opens avenues up for them to be able to communicate and collaborate more widely. We just talk about the one app experience, and then we bring in all of these different examples so they get to grips with using these tools in that way.
I think almost everyone knows that it's important to get leaders on Yammer in order to drive engagement, but is there anything in particular they should be thinking about when trying to engage with frontline workers?
Yes, really great question, and I think that Yammer is a super powerful tool for leaders. A couple of different things. So first of all, getting to know your people, understanding what it is that they're doing, being able to reply and respond and connect to them instantly is fantastic. And if we think about frontline workers and how spread out they are, and how difficult it can be for leaders to be able to get in front of them in the same way that they might hold a town hall for information workers, for example, and gather them all together and provide updates, and it just doesn't work in the same way for frontline workers. And so actually, being able to have a tool like Yammer where they can connect, they can reach out, where they can have a voice, they can share video blogs, they can increase their own brand advocacy internally just by having this platform is, super powerful for leaders.
Charlene, thank you so much for your time, for inviting me here and sharing all those awesome insights. If people want to find out more, what should they do?
If you'd like to find out more about Yammer for frontline workers, please get in touch, and thanks for watching.